The rain pounded heavily as I stood at the edge of the road, clutching my basket of potatoes. Mud splashed up with every passing step, and I felt a growing sense of frustration. This day was not going as planned, and I wondered if it was a mistake to have come to the market at all. Just as I bent down to rescue a potatoes that had rolled into the mud, a voice startled me. "Let me help you." I looked up to see Nora, her wrapper drenched, yet her face calm and focused. Without waiting for my reply, she knelt and began picking up the potatoes, her hands quick but gentle. For a moment, I was too stunned to speak. I barely knew her, yet here she was, drenched in rain and mud, helping me as if it was the most natural thing in the world. "Thank you," I finally said, my voice almost drowned out by the rain. She looked up and smiled, a simple gesture that carried more warmth than I could describe. "Sometimes life storms come to show us what truly matters," she said as she handed me the last potato. Her words stayed with me long after the rain stopped. You see, I was at a crossroads in my life then. Everyone was telling me, "Get married, you are old enough to father a child, your mates are getting married." Everyone expected me to marry Olivia. She is in the university in town studying law. She was beautiful, from a wealthy family, and admired by the entire village. On the surface, she seemed perfect. But deep down, I felt something was missing. Our conversations were shallow, our connection surface level. I often found myself trying to be someone I wasn't around her, just to meet expectations. Nora, on the other hand, was quiet and unassuming. She wasn't the type to demand attention. But there was a depth to her that drew me in. The more I observed her, the more I noticed how she treated everyone with kindness and respect. She had a way of listening that made you feel truly heard, as if she could understand the words you didn't say. One day, after a long day in the fields, I found myself walking toward Nora, family compound. I hadn't planned it, but my feet seemed to know where to go. She was sitting under the mango tree, weaving a basket. I hesitated for a moment, unsure of what to say, but she looked up and smiled. "Nelson, is something troubling you?" she asked, her tone gentle. I sat down on the bench opposite her and poured out my heart. I told her about the pressure to marry Olivia, my doubts, and my fears of disappointing everyone. She listened without interrupting, her hands still weaving the basket but her eyes focused on me. When I finished, she said, "Nelson, marriage is not about pleasing others. It's about finding someone who will walk with you through life, through the storms and the sunshine. Someone who sees you for who you truly are and still chooses you." Her words hit me like a bolt of lightning. For the first time, I felt clarity. I realized that with Nora, I didn't have to pretend. I could be myself, flaws and all, and she would accept me. More than that, she inspired me to be better, to grow into the man I wanted to be. Breaking things off with Olivia was not easy. My friends called me a fool, and my parents were disappointed at first. But I knew in my heart that I had made the right choice. Nora became my best friend, a friend I can always share how my day went. Nora and I built our life together on trust, mutual respect, and a shared commitment to growth. She taught me the importance of patience, of listening, and of seeing the good in others even when it's hidden. When we got married, life brought its challenges. My sisters often spoke to her with disrespect, testing her patience. But Nora never raised her voice or responded harshly. Instead, she showed them kindness, helping them when they needed it and treating them with respect. Over time, they couldn't help but admire her strength and character. Her ability to handle my quarrelsome mother was nothing short of remarkable. My mother was skeptical of her at first, criticizing her for the smallest things. But Nora would listen calmly, acknowledge her concerns, and find a way to make her feel valued. Slowly, my mother's attitude softened, and she began to see Nora as the daughter she never had. What made me fall deeper in love with Nora was her unwavering belief in us as a team. She always showed me how much she valued our relationship. One day, when I was feeling particularly low after a failed business venture, she looked me in the eye and said, "Nelson, as long as we have each other, we can face anything. I cannot imagine life without you." However, challenges soon arose. My older brother, Benson, had married a woman who brought nothing but trouble to their home. Their constant fights became a burden on the family, and Benson began to admire Nora from afar. I noticed the lingering glances and the unnecessary compliments, and it disturbed me. Nora, however, handled the situation with grace. She kept a respectful distance and focused on our family. Her actions spoke volumes, and eventually, I decided it was best for us to move to the city. But my mother disagreed with us. She was shouting and cursing Nora the day we left. We moved to the city for better opportunities. It was a big change. But Nora's optimism kept us grounded. In the city, Nora's industrious nature shone brightly. She continued her basket weaving business and quickly built a loyal customer base. Together, we started a sachet water business. It wasn't easy in the beginning, but we worked side by side, sharing responsibilities and encouraging each other. Her knack for understanding people made her an excellent manager, and soon our business began to thrive. I was astonished when I realized how much she was earning in her basket weaving business. One evening, after she handed me a substantial amount to help improve our sachet water business, I couldn't hide my surprise. "Nora, how have you managed to save this much?" I asked. She smiled and called me, my choice as she fondly called me. Little by little, it's not about how much you have but how well you manage it. Her support made all the difference. The sachet water business thrived, and I promised her that I would arrange getting more baskets to be brought from the village so she could expand her trade. Her face lit up with joy, and it reminded me why I had chosen her as my partner. At home, Nora's dedication was just as inspiring. By 6 a.m., she would have already completed 3 tasks, preparing breakfast, tidying up the house, and urging me to say a prayer for our family's well-being. Her discipline and love set the tone for our day. There was a difficult time when we discovered one of our staff, a young girl, was trying to seduce me. It hurt me deeply, but Nora handled the situation with grace. She confronted the girl privately, speaking to her with empathy but firmness. She explained the importance of respecting boundaries and gave the girl a second chance while making it clear that such behavior wouldn't be tolerated. Her approach earned my respect and deepened my love for her. Our marriage became a journey of learning and growing together. Nora's ability to navigate challenges with wisdom and grace inspired me to be a better husband. Over the years, we fell even more in love, not just with who we were as individuals but with the life we had built together. As the years passed, we were blessed with 3 daughters. While I loved them dearly, I couldn't shake the desire for a son. When I brought up the idea of adoption, Nora agreed without hesitation. "A child is a blessing, whether born to us or brought into our home," she said, and her words eased my heart. So we adopted a son and named him Valentine. Not everyone supported our decisions. But Nora took care of our son as if it was her biological child. When I expressed my desire to send Nora to nursing school, my elder sister vehemently opposed it. "She'll leave you," she said. "Look at what happened to Grace and Comfort from the village. Once they got their degrees, they abandoned their husbands." I disagreed. "Nora is different," I said firmly. My father later called me aside and handed me a huge amount of money. "This is the best woman we have in this compound," he said. "Give her the best. I support you." With my father's blessing, I sent Nora to the College of Nursing. Despite the challenges of being a mother and a student, she excelled. Her kindness and diligence won her favor among her peers and instructors. When she graduated at the top of her class, she was awarded a scholarship to pursue her master's degree in Scotland. By this time, Nora was heavily pregnant. We decided to move to Scotland as a family. Shortly after our arrival, she gave birth to triplets, 3 healthy boys. It felt like a reward for all the trials we had endured together. In Scotland, Nora continued to inspire me. She balanced her studies, motherhood, and our family life with incredible grace. Watching her grow and thrive filled me with pride and deepened my love for her. One day, my phone rang. It was my sister, the same one who had opposed many of our decisions in the past. Her voice was hesitant, almost trembling. Nora, I want to apologize, she said. For everything. For doubting you, for the hurtful words. You've shown us what it means to be a good wife and mother. Nora's response was calm and gracious. It's all in the past, she said. What matters now is family unity. Around that time, Nora began importing charcoal from Nigeria, a business she managed alongside me. Her sharp business instincts amazed me, and together, we grew the venture. I eventually took over the operations to allow her to focus on her nursing work and other growing responsibilities. And our efforts brought significant success. Now, as I tell this story to my daughter Sandra, I see the same questions and uncertainties in her eyes that I once had. I tell her, Sandra, finding the right spouse is not about perfection. It's about finding someone who brings out the best in you and walks with you through life's challenges. Someone who listens, who cares, and who makes you feel at peace. She nods, absorbing my words. I know she will face her own storms, just as I did. But I also know she has the strength and wisdom to navigate them. And when the time comes, I hope she will remember this story and trust her heart to guide her to the right choice. Years passed, and our eldest daughter Sandra and our second daughter Nancy got married the same day, to kind and respectful Scottish men. The wedding was a joyous occasion, and we brought my father and mother from Nigeria to attend. My mother, who had once been critical of Nora, pulled her aside one evening. Nora, she said, her voice thick with emotion, please forgive me for everything I've done to you. You've shown me what true strength and love look like. Nora embraced her, tears streaming down both their faces. Mama, there's nothing to forgive. We are family. As the years went by, our love for each other only deepened. We faced challenges, celebrated victories, and raised a family grounded in love and mutual respect. Through it all, one truth became abundantly clear: getting married to the right spouse is the foundation of a fulfilling life. Nothing else matters as much as the strength of the bond you share with your partner.